Hi, everyone. James Slotnick here. We are back with our 8th edition of our Countdown to the Election video series. With Justice Barrett being sworn in this week, I thought it was worthwhile to spend a few minutes talking about what are the procedures if a president wants to increase or decrease the number of Supreme Court justices. I think it's important to remember that we always haven't had 9 Supreme Court justices. Back in 1789, back in the beginning, the Judiciary Act of 1789 set the Supreme Court at 6 justices. Now, that was expanded over time. 1807 went to 7 justices. 1837 went to 9 justices. In 1863, President Lincoln expanded the court to 10 justices. That was reduced in 1866 to 7 justices under President Johnson, a lot of Reconstruction history that we won't go through here. Then in 1869, under President Grant, he signed the Judiciary Act of 1869, which set the Supreme Court number of justices at 9, which is where we sit today. Now, of course, 1937 was the last major attempt to change the number of Supreme Court justices. President Roosevelt attempted to expand the court to up to 15 justices, but that legislation didn't make it through Congress. So if it is a President Biden in 2021, and if Democrats control the House, and they also have a majority in the Senate, the question is, would they look to expand the number of justices for the Supreme Court? I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it certainly is something that's being discussed. Well, you don't need a constitutional amendment to change the number of Supreme Court justices. You do need legislation, though, to pass the House and the Senate and be signed by the president. The real issue with moving legislation in this hypothetical world, where it's a President Biden with a Democratic Senate and a Democratic House, is the legislation in the Senate would have the filibuster protection. In other words, you would need 60 senators in the Senate to vote to end debate on a piece of legislation to expand the size of the Supreme Court. What could happen, though, is a simple majority of Democrats could change the filibuster rule for this piece of legislation. So instead of needing 60 votes to end debate on the bill, you'd only need a simple majority to end debate on the bill. Now, maybe that's controversial, maybe it's not, but remember, over time, for judicial nominees, the filibuster has gone away as well. Democrats made some changes, Republicans have made some changes. So changes to the filibuster happen. Again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it is something that both parties have done in recent history. So that would really be the deciding factor on whether or not Democrats are able to expand the Supreme Court, if they even go down that route. Would they change the rules for the filibuster? Maybe not even for everything, but just for that particular piece of legislation. So that instead of needing 60 senators to move that piece of legislation that expands the Supreme Court through Congress, you only needed a simple majority of senators to end debate, and then a simple majority of senators to then vote on it. So certainly something, if President Biden wins the election, certainly something that will be discussed and certainly something that we'll be watching. See you next week.